on a coaching call, when your client shows up with resistance or is triggered by your strategy, two things can happen where you get triggered and all of a sudden you feel like you need to kind of appease your client, even though you know this is not actually the technique that's going to get them to where they want. But you're sort of people pleaser, or you're like, oh, you want to keep the peace, you want to just keep it blissful. You sort of appease that resistance and you're like, oh, okay, and you back away, right? And because you're getting triggered. Or effective coaches, what we will do is lean in and get really curious. You know, when all of these feelings, these triggering emotions, these thoughts, hey Vera, right? So these thoughts are coming in, right? And that's what I want to offer you guys, is to lean into your own resistance so that you can lean into your resistance with your coaches, because what that's going to do is going to help them get to where they are stuck, out of that place to where they want to be, because that's truly what people pay for. They pay for the transformation. Write this down. They pay for the transformation that you offer, the life-altering transformation that you offer. Sometimes we think it's because we have the certificate. Sometimes we think it's because we have the title. Sometimes we think, we studied with this special guru, so now we have this special technique and there's this hierarchy. But in the end, people really want to know, I'm here. Can you see me in this place? And do you know how to get me to that place? Okay, so that's why this topic is so important, to understand your own resistance and to understand your client's resistance. So let's go over, right? Because, for us, for our clients, one of probably these, there's so much energy around these words that it kind of stops them. It's the resistance that stops them to where they want to go. So in marketing, right? What was your feeling? What was your thought? And what was your emotion? Very often for our clients, marketing gives them a sense of fear. It's like, oh, but they're going to judge me if I put myself out there. They're going to maybe think like I'm not actually delivering what I can, deliver. We sort of have this sense of imposter syndrome, So let me know if that's you, right? If it's like, every time you have this idea of just speaking about what you do at your deepest level, you all of a sudden feel gripped by fear because you're afraid of judgment. You're afraid that you're not really going to give them what they want. Sometimes it can be overwhelmed, because sometimes it's like there's all of these strategies. There's Facebook, there's YouTube, there's Instagram, there's TikTok, there's so many places, right? And so then we get overwhelmed by the strategy, and we go on this kind of research, and we just are like, okay, she says that YouTube is the best place. They say that Facebook is the best place. They say I should run ads, and it's like, and then it just becomes overwhelming. And then you're just like, you get paralysis by analysis. You just don't know what they have to do, right? And then there's confusion, right? Where it's like you start kind of getting confused, because sometimes you get really into like a certain strategy and you're like, oh yeah, okay, this is the one. And then all of a sudden you sort of do more research, and then they're like opposing each other, where they're saying two different things, and you're like, it's like, I'm very confused as to, and then how do I start the whole thing? Like, it sounds like a good idea, but how do I actually get it started, right? And then there's doubt. So this often happens when you're like, okay, I got my niche. I got, I know who I'm going to talk to. I got, the thing I want to give, the service I want to give. I got my offer. And then you start doing it. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, is that really what I do? Is that really what I speak to? Is that the title I should do? Is that what I should say about it? Like, there's all this doubt. So let me know in the comments if any of that speaks to you. Okay? And these emotions are universal. So I'm just taking, what our clients go through, but it will help you if you start to see, right, this process of understanding what are they feeling, what is the emotion and what is the thought, you're going to start to see, that's the process, right? Okay, I'm giving you something here, right? To bring your clients from A to B, and that's really what they want. Now, what about raising your prices? Oh, I think in the spiritual community, a lot of us are taught in the collective to do what we do for free. And that's fine. Like right now, this is a free thing. I'm offering, my years of experience, and I'm just offering it to you now. But as a business, we can't just teach for free. We got to pay the bills. We have to pay the mortgage. We have to feed our kids, right? So our model is we teach for free and we charge at a premium. So that means we charge at a 3K, 4K, 5K, 8K, whatever feels right for you. And so we teach our clients how to shift out of the dollar per hour model into premium pricing, okay? And that usually blows people's minds because it's kind of like they've never heard this concept before, and all of their shame, all of their guilt starts to come in. So when I say raising your prices, what do you feel? Do you feel like, oh no, I can't do that. Who's gonna, how can everyone afford it, right? Or shame, where it's like, oh, they're gonna think I'm greedy if I charge for what I do, right? And they're gonna like think I'm greedy, that I actually want money for what I do. Like half the other population that's working for a living, right? Or we feel unworthy, where it's like, who's going to pay me for that? Like, you're telling me I can charge that much? Like, what? Like, whoa, right? And so right away, okay, there's these emotions, and guess what? That is the resistance, right? That's the thing that's actually blocking you from where you want to go. So let's keep on going, okay? What about hiring experts to help you for things in your business that you don't understand, okay? And I think, for the longest time, and I've done this before, where it's like, I've just did it on my own. And one of the kind of rational thoughts is like, well, I'm going to save money if I do it on my own. But building a business is very similar to building a house. You can build it on your own, but you're first of all going to have to learn how to do it. It's going to take you a long time to get it all together, and to raise the funds, and to have the material, and to do the labor, right? But if you build a business, and you build a house, there are going to be people who are experts in the foundation. There are going to be people experts in the bricks. They're going to be experts in the electricity. And they've studied years, right? They have loads of experience. So when they do it, it's like they're going to do it in that expert professional way. There's going to be the architect, and then you're sort of like the director, right? And so a lot of people don't understand necessarily their role as the owner of their business. They often think they have to be all of it, right? Instead of realizing, okay, I'm the visionary. I'm the one that's going to build the house and tell all the experts how I want to do it, right? So if you want to scale your business, if you want to create more profitability, sometimes you are like, how do you do that? Right? You're expert at what you do, but you're like, I don't know how to bridge the gap, right? And then the last one is sales. Ooh, this one, there's a lot of energy around sales. It's like, oh God, I don't want to sell myself, right? It feels yucky, And it's like, what's so interesting, about sales, right? And if you were to work with me, one of the things we simply teach you is sales is simply just part of the coaching process. It's just part of your work, in a sense that you're just allowing people, and you're giving people what it is you do, right? Just like right now, I'm offering you a training, right? Just to give you an idea, and to give you, something that's going to bring you further along your journey, so you can get closer to your dream. So if you help people with ADHD, if you help people suffer from panic attacks, if you help the elderly, if you help, there are so many things, and we have to start somewhere, right? It's kind of like, I often think of this as like you read the book that the author wrote, but working with that author are two different things. But you get a sense of like, oh, okay, I get their values. I get their way of thinking. Ah, okay, I get their concepts. Ah, okay, so now how do I implement that? So if you were to work with me, that's what we do. Is like, okay, let's do this in collaboration and partnership to get you where you want to go, right? So sales is really simply speaking your truth, right? And offering people what it is you know